this video we are going to take a look at HTTP post, or say full page postback. So in this video we are going to concentrate only on full page postback using ASP.NET MVC 5. So just for the sake of this demonstration we are going to use drop-down list in order to do a full page postback. We are also going to see on how to retrieve all the posted values, or say browser posted values to the server using ASP.NET MVC in various ways. So let us start directly by creating a project. So I go to Visual C#, and in there I just wanted to select web and make sure that ASP.NET MVC application, web application is selected. You can provide whatever the application name you would like to provide. So in this case, say I would like to go with sample, click OK, and I would like to select empty template. However, I would like to ensure that MVC based empty template needs to be made available for my application. So make sure that you select empty template. However, ensure that you have all the references with respect to MVC are in place. Okay, so now we have a sample solution, sample project, and we have all the folders necessary. Those are the controllers, models, and views. So if you're not familiar with views, models, or controllers, please refer to my previous video on introduction to MVC. So for now we are going to concentrate on full page postback. So in order to do that, let us start with a view model. So in this case, yes, I would like to have a drop-down list to be made available. So I would like to have the drop-down list to be filled with a list of countries. So for that purpose, I would like to use a view model where the job of the view model is going to be producing, or say pulling up all the countries which are necessary for the drop-down list to be shown. So for that purpose, I'm just going to create a new view model. So in this case, I would like to call this one as sample01 view model. You can just put whatever the class name you would like to have. So in this case, I would like to start with sample01 and click add. And now you can see I have a view model class generated. And now all I would like to have is public list of country. So I would like to have a list of countries to be made available using this property. So let me give only get for now, so which means it is just a read-only property where the job of get is going to be to actually fulfill all the countries necessary to be retrieved. So country is supposed to be a class. I did not create any class called country, so I would like to create that right now. So go to models, add another class called country, and in this case the country is going to have two properties to maintain the country information. One is going to be the ID, so country ID you can say. The other is going to be name, say country name or whatever. So in this case I would like to have both of those two. So now I have country and name, so which means ID and name to be made available as part of country, and that particular country is going to be what I am using here. And this get essentially is going to create a new list of countries. So I would like to have new list of country to be created and to be returned back. So this is what I would like to have. But here you can see it is just returning empty list of countries. I need at least a couple of countries to be shown in the drop-down list. So just for demonstration purpose, I would like to hardcode few countries. So in this case, I would like to create a country called India. So where the ID is going to be IN in this case. However, name of the country is going to be India. So I created only one country. So let me create a couple more. So I'm going to have one more and one more. So I'm going to have three countries altogether, and the second country is going to be something like this: USA, United States of America, and the third one is going to be Canada, say. So I would like to say the ID as CAN in this case, and the caption or name is going to be Canada. So now that I have the view model, so view model in this case, right now I have only one property called countries. Essentially this property is going to list out all the list of countries available. So the list is going to be hard coded as of now, where each of the country will have ID and name properties. Okay, so now that we have the model ready, okay, let us switch back to controller. So I don't have a controller, so let me create a new controller from the scratch. I click add and then go to controller, and now I'm going to have an empty controller in this case, and I just wanted to call this controller as sample01. So right now this is the index, and that is the get operation by default. You can see it doesn't have HTTP post attribute. So if you have HTTP post attribute, it works as a post operation or post action. So in this case it is just a get operation. So all I'm going to have is index, and now what I'm saying is I would like to have a new sample 01 view model needs to be instantiated and finally sent that one to the view. So which means I'm going to have an instance of sample01 view model, for which I need to import the necessary namespace. So I'm creating an instance of the view model. So that view model internally will have the list of countries to be brought just by using the property countries, right? So that the same model I'm going to send to the view. So view should be responsible to pull that information from the view model. So I don't have a view at this moment. You can see I don't have a view inside sample01. So let me create a new view. So the easiest way, just right click and say add view. So I can say index for now. It is asking me if I would like to have any layout page to be created. For now I don't want any layout, and just click add for now. Okay, so you can see this is a full page, and this particular index page I would like to make sure that it is using sample view model. Why I am using this? The reason behind is, you can see this view has to work with whatever the model we are sending here. So we are sending M, which is of type sample01 view model. So in order to make sure that this view works based on this model, you need to mention this particular model specification directly at the top. So this is essential. So now that we have it, so which means I'm saying that this view index can receive an object of type this particular sample view model, and that particular object is always accessible by just writing @model. You can see M is capital, so here M is capital and here M is small. So whenever I say @model, M is capital, which means you are literally accessing the object which has been sent to the view. So which means whatever you are sending M here is automatically going to be made available in model object. So this is a default object which is already available as part of your view, and the data type of this one is going to be exactly the same data type whatever you have specified here. So if you specify different data type here, you are going to have this model to be working in a different fashion. However, in this case, as you are sending the model of type sample01 view model, it has to be in sync with whatever you are using here. So this view works with this model. Similarly, in order to work with this view, the controller has to send the same model object, and the same model object we are going to send here is accessible using @model. And now if I say dot, you can see I have the countries property automatically. Imagine I did not use this and I'm directly using @model, and you can see it doesn't know what it is doing, so it could not give us any information. However, the moment you specify the view model type on which this view is depending upon, the moment you say model dot, you can see the countries is already made available for you. So that is the significance of actually having the model specification as part of your particular view. Okay, so in order to have our particular drop-down list, so I have a helper which is made available as part of ASP.NET MVC. So I can say HTML drop-down list, and I can provide the name of the drop-down list. In this case, that could be countries, and I can say like it can work with model.countries. Let us see if this is going to work in our case. However, you can see it is already giving some kind of problem for us. So what is that? Let us see all those particular overloaded methods we have. So we have string with option label, which is fine, and now this is important. This is name, which is fine. I gave the DDL countries as the name, which should be fine in our case. However, there are other things which are necessary. So in this case, it is expecting an enumerable of type select list item. But we are not sending select list item types here, but our countries is a list of countries. It is not select list item. But our particular view is actually expecting that one to be of type select list item. So in order to have these particular countries to be translated to enumerable of select list item, I would like to have a new method to be added to my particular view model, and the job of that particular new method is going to be convert this list of countries to select list items. It is going to be just a helper method in this case. So I'm going to add a new method which essentially gives enumerable of select list item type. So this is exactly what that particular drop down list is expecting, and I can say get countries list items. So in this case, so that is just a helper method. Okay, so where is this select list item? If you open this, you can see that particular select list item class is available as part of system.web.mvc. I need to import that. So the moment I import it, you can see that particular class is made available, and now this method is supposed to translate all this list of countries to enumerable of select list item. So in order to do that, I am going to use a link expression where it is going to retrieve all the current countries whatever I have in there dot select, and now for each of the countries available inside that countries list, I'm saying that please create a new select list item, and that particular select list item should have the respective properties. Select list item has very importantly two properties. One is text, the other is value. So I can say text is going to be what the user is going to see. In this case, the country name is what the user is going to see, and the value is what will be posted to the server once the user has selected a country. So in this case, I would like to get country ID. So which means I'm going to say like whenever a particular drop down list item has been selected, this value is going to be posted to the server. So which means I'm saying that if the user selects United States of America, USA will be sent to the user. Sent to the server. So the server needs ID, that is the selected country, but the user needs to see the caption. So in order to have both of these two together as part of the drop down list, I'm saying that text, which is what the user is going to see, needs to be set to the caption or the name what the user is going to see. The value is the one which is going to be posted to the server or sent to the server. And now that I have everything in place, all I'm going to say is use this particular get country list items directly. So I go back here and I'm going to say just use this. So let us see if this is going to work in our case. So I go to view in browser. Okay, I did not build this one yet, so let me stop this and build it for a second. Okay, so let me switch here and make sure that the build is successful. And now I can say view in browser. And now you can see I have India, United States of America and Canada. And these three, whatever you are going to see, are nothing but the captions or the names of the countries, but not the IDs. But the moment you open a view page source, let us consider. Okay, you can see like you are seeing all the captions right here. However, the value is based on whatever the ID you have put in. So whenever you post this information to the server, you are not posting the caption, but instead you are going to post the value. If you would like to have the ID to be shown here instead of caption, you will have to modify your particular get country list items in such a way. So the text, I don't want caption, but I want ID. So that is possible too. So now I can say, again I build it, and let me view it again. And now you can see I have IDs here. So again, if you go to the view page source, you can see I'm going to have ID here, and also the user is going to be seeing ID. You can also have both if you would like to contribute or concatenate together in this case. So I can say something like this. So I would like to have ID together with the caption, both of these two. So which means the user has to see both. So just for my convenience, I would like to switch from Firefox to Google Chrome. So let me view in browser now. Now it is going to open Google Chrome. And now you can see I have the ID along with the caption. So the user is going to see the ID and also the caption together. The moment you say page view source here, now you can see this is the caption what the user is going to see. However, the values are going to be just the same as we mentioned. Okay, now that we got the drop down list to what we really need, there is some more things what we can do. For example, if I switch to this one, let me go back to the browser for a second. Imagine I don't want India to be selected by default. I would like to have select a country to be the first element. So the easiest way to do that is it has an overloaded method where I can specify any kind of caption label. So in this case I can say select a country. So that is possible too. So let us see if this is going to work. And there we go. So now the first thing is select a country. So when I drop down, I can select whatever the value I have in here. Okay, so now that the drop down list is actually displaying what it is supposed to, now the goal of this particular video is whenever I select something here, the value needs to be posted back to the server, and that value needs to be retrieved by the server, whatever the value we posted. And in return, I would like to have the same web page to be refreshed with a label here, where that label essentially is supposed to show the value whatever we have selected. So let us see on how we can accomplish that. So in order to post something, first of all we should have a form in the sense a form tag. So let us switch back to our view source for a second. We don't have a form tag here. If you can see, there is no form tag. So whenever you would like to post something, that particular ID that particular element needs to be made available as part of form. So in order to have a form, the easiest way is to use the helper. So I can say using html.begin form, and this particular begin form can have three parameters in this case. So let us work with three parameters for now. It has got too many overloaded methods, but for now let us go with the easiest way. So this particular form for now, So let me push my stuff here. So which means what I'm saying is whenever I select drop down list and if I post it, it has to post to that particular form. That is what I'm saying. And now this particular form, I need to specify all the necessary features or the supporting attributes for the respective form. So in this case what I'm saying is whenever I post anything, it has to go to index action of this controller, which is sample01, and the method is going to be form method dot post. So this is essential. So what I'm saying is if I post something as part of dropdown or any other element available in between this scope, that particular submit or that particular request to the server will be going in the form of post. So it is going to be a HTTP post. So whenever it is posting, it is going to find a particular action with this name which supports post. So right now if you open the controller sample01, this is with get. I don't have another action with the same name which supports post. So I need to have an action index which supports post in this case. It could be index or anything else, but that particular action should support post. So that is important. So I'm saying that this, whenever we post anything through drop down list, it has to go to this action which is marked with this post, and that particular action needs to be available as part of this controller. So in this case we are using the same controller, and now I need to have a new action to be defined which can support post operation. So I can say public action result, and I can say index, which is also, and now I would like to say something like string dummy or whatever. So you might be wondering why I would need that. I will be explaining that in a second. So for now, let us consider I would like to specify something like this, HTTP post. So let me return the view. So that too I am going to create. Okay, let me return whatever I have in here. Okay, so what I'm saying is there is a particular action called index which is marked with HTTP post, which means if it is a get request, it has to go to this action. If it is a post request, it has to go to this particular action. So as long as that particular action name matches with the respective HTTP action, if no action is specified, like I specified HTTP post here, if you don't specify anything here, it is by default it is get. So if the action is called index, but if you did not specify any HTTP verb, this is the get action, and this is the post action with the same action name. So I can have the same action to be presented with both get and also the post. So I'm having this particular action which is supporting post, and at the same time right now if you remove this, let us consider I remove this. Okay, so in this case it might work, but let me build this for a second and see if that is going to work with no problems. And now you can see it says controller already defines a member called index with the same parameter name. So you can see it doesn't accept it. Why? Because according to the object-oriented terms, you cannot have two methods with the same name and at the same time with same parameters. So in this case I don't have any parameters here, I also don't have any parameters here. That is not going to be acceptable. So this is still going with respect to object-oriented terms, so we need to have something there. So in this case, as this is a demonstration, I would like to make some difference in the signature. So which means now this is a method index, a overloaded method index according to object-oriented terms. So according to object orientation, what I'm saying here is we have two methods, one method with no parameters and another method with a simple parameters. So we are just overloading it, and now if I build it, it should successfully compile. But that is only from the object orientation semantics. But from the HTTP point of view, this action will be automatically taken into the consideration if the request is of type POST. If that particular request is of type GET and the action is indexed, this is going to be picked up. Okay, so let us see one by one. Now I switch back to index again for a second. And now I need to have this particular drop down to be acting as a post. So right now, if I execute this, okay, so I have the drop down, but if I select something, it is not really posting back to the server. I need this particular drop down list to be automatically posting the selected value to the server. That is what is my goal. So in order to accomplish that, I need to have the drop down list to be doing its own self post. For that purpose, I can add a particular on change attribute, HTML attribute, which is nothing but on change attribute for the HTML select, where I can provide my own JavaScript. So in this case, I am saying that on change equal to this.form.submit. So this is simple JavaScript, which is inline JavaScript, which is going to be added as part of on change attribute for the respective select tag what this particular drop down list is going to emit. So let us see how this is going to work. Let me put a breakpoint here so that we will know what is doing and which action is being invoked at runtime. So let me execute this. And now you can see I am actually going to the controller sample01 and index. So it is a get operation. And now you can see for the first time it is hitting here, as because I am not posting any data, but for the first time I am landing onto the page, which is nothing but a get request. So the moment I execute it, okay, now I got everything ready here. So let me quickly see on what this select is. So you can see I have the select, which is nothing but the drop down list from the HTML point of view, and you can also see on change. So whatever I specified there in the markup has directly come in here. So this is exactly what I specified, on change with whatever the JavaScript you would like to give. And the moment, okay, let me go to the network here. So right now I don't have any traffic here. You can see there is no traffic available. And the moment I select any particular item inside the drop down, you can see it has automatically selected HTTP post related action and it is waiting there. Okay, for now I just continue without doing much, and let us quickly observe the network on what it is doing. Let us go back. Now you can see I have the sample01, so let us click on that and let us click on headers, and you are going to see all I'm trying to accomplish is I'm requesting this URL and the request method is post. This is important. This is very important to understand. I'm requesting the post HTTP verb. If you are not sure about get and post, please refer my previous video. So what I'm doing is I'm just specifying we need to post something, and if you come down, what are we posting? You can see I'm posting something called DDL countries, which is going to have a value called USA. So this is the key and this is the value, and this is exactly what I'm posting to the server. And once it is posted, the server is going to be responding back with this response. And right now the whole response, whatever you are seeing here, is exactly what has been sent by the server. And now you can see that whole part is made available here. This response is reinterpreted by the browser and you see a fresh page here. Okay, let me clear all the network traffic. Let us start from the beginning again. So I say sample01 index. You can see it is going to be a get request, as because I am not submitting the form. So I press enter, and now you can see it has selected the get operation. Why? Because I did not submit a form. I am just trying to retrieve a page. So I press continue, and now let us see what is going on. I have an index here. Let us click on that, go to the headers, And now you can see the request method is of type get. That is important. So if we have get, you can see I don't have any of the form submission related key value pairs here. So these are the developer tools. You can always get these developers tools by pressing F12. That is important. Okay. Anyway, now whenever I select something, now you can see it has posted. So let me continue. And now you can see this is the one which is doing a post operation, and during the post operation it is sending form data and the key values. So now that we are actually posting something to the server, we need to retrieve that information at the server level. So how do I do that? Now we are pretty sure that this is going to be the action which is going to hit the moment the post operation is selected. So since once we post, this is the action which is going to be executed. So as part of this one, to make our things simple, I would like to use ViewData. So as part of this, I would like to say selected country equal to, I can say something like get the value directly from request parameters in this case. So I can say request of DDL countries. So what I'm specifying is whenever I post something to this index, I'm trying to retrieve the form data whatever I have as part of the request, the post request, what we have seen earlier in the developer tools, the form data, the key value pairs. So I'm retrieving the value of a particular key, DDL countries, and putting into the view data. So this is my own key. The reason behind using view data is the same view data can be used in our view directly. So which means whatever you place in this view data can be directly accessed in our view by just doing something like this. So I can put a span like this. You can put whatever you need. So in this case I would like to go with a span, and now I can say @view data selected country. That's it. So which means what I'm trying to do here is from the action I would like to send some information to the view, and the simplest way to achieve that is using the view data. You can put whatever the rubbish you wanted to use inside the view by using view data. All you need to do is get that particular value you would like to have to be passed to the view, push that value into the view data using a key. Using the same key, go back to your view and retrieve that value out. So let us see if this is working fine. So just press F5. So let me open the developer tools. So now I submit something, and now you can see I got USA. So if you go back to my request here, you can see this is the form data I'm sending, DDL countries. So the value USA is being retrieved using this key, and where I am using this key, I am directly using that key as part of this one. So request of that particular key gives the value whatever you have posted or the user has posted from the respective browser, and that value I am pushing into the view data so that I can use that data in view later on. So once I go to the view, which is nothing but this, I am saying that please get that particular data out. So let us see again. So let me clear the traffic whatever I have. So let me do this, and now let us quickly go to our inspect element, and now you can see I have span which is empty. Why? Because I don't have anything in view data. Our get request here, this is the get request, it did not specify anything inside the view data. If you'd like to have, you can also specify something like I can say no country selected at the moment. So you can specify whatever the message you would like to do dynamically. So even this should work. So in this case, during the get request, I would like to specify this particular message to be made available through the view data, and the same key with the same view data is being used here. And the moment I execute this, you can see I already have that particular message. So if you go to inspect elements, you can see the span is having that particular value. So if I do a post, say Canada in this case, now you can see I'm doing a particular request, and that request is of type post, and we are actually sending the form data, which is DDL countries, and I'm sending Canada here, and in return this particular response, if you can see the response from the server, is actually sending the whole page from the HTML till to the bottommost HTML tag, which is the close tag. And as part of this, you can see I have form, which is a new form with all the options, and the span with Canada. This is important. So the response from the server includes the span with Canada. However, if I clear everything and just refresh this, and if you see this is the request, which is of type get, and if you see the response from the server, you can see how the span is going to look like. But the moment you select something like USA, you can see I have a new request, and if you see the headers, it is of type post. I posted something using DDL countries, and in the response you can also see the span whatever I'm getting here. So this seems reasonable as of now, but there is one particular problem in my application. That is, I'm not having the country selected to be persisted across postbacks. So which means if so imagine this is the first thing. If I select Canada, let us consider. Okay, so it shows that I have selected Canada, but that particular selection is currently not being persisted after the postback. So I need to have that particular value to be automatically made selected after post. So right now it is not maintaining it. Why? Because this whole page gets refreshed. So which means new drop down list will be created with all the new elements, and the whole response, if you see this, the whole response is actually new response from the server. This entire select along with the form, everything is recreated from the server. That is the reason I don't have whatever the value I have selected earlier to be made available. So we need to ensure that that particular value, whatever I have sent or posted to the server, is persisted in the same fashion once it has been retrieved back. So in order to do that, I'm going to do a couple of modifications to my particular view model. So view model essentially means it maintains the view on how all the values and how the data needs to be represented as part of the view. So in this case, I would like to say something like public string selected country. So I would like to say something like this. I'm just adding a particular string, nothing but selected country. This is just the property which contains whatever the value the user has selected during the post. So if the user selects USA, that needs to be made available as part of selected country. And while getting the list of countries to be retrieved and assigned to a drop down, there is a particular property what we can make use of, that is selected. So I can have this particular property to be set to true if that particular country needs to be selected. So imagine this text shows USA, and if I want that item to be selected, I can just say true, which means that is the default selected value. So if this particular selected is always true for everything, then the latest value only will be the selected. So I cannot have this selected for everything. So I need to have this selected value only for the value for which the selected country has been posted by the user. So for that purpose, I can say like if the current ID is equal to selected country, then only it has to be selected. So which means I can say something like this. So if this condition is returning true, that true will be assigned to selected. If this condition returns false, this particular selected will be false. So right now imagine this is the first time I landed onto the page. It will be trying to retrieve all those particular countries, and it is going to check every particular country ID with the selected country. By default, if nothing is selected and if it is for the first time, the selected country is going to be empty. So which means it checks every country ID whether it is equal to empty. So it is never equal, so the selected will always be false. But imagine I have already selected a country and this value is made available with the country ID whatever I have selected. Then you are, whenever the countries is going to be populated, it is going to check whether the current country ID is equal to the selected country ID during post. If it is so, that value will be selected, otherwise it will not be. But we made everything available. We did not place, or we did not assign the value for selected country. So where do I assign that? The good place will be this. So now I can say m dot selected country equal to, I can just say a request of DDL countries in this case. So what I'm saying is whatever the value I get from the DDL countries, which is nothing but the selected value, that will be assigned to selected country. And once that is in the model, whenever the view is going to be refreshed, which is going to execute our model here, and whenever it tries to bind our drop down to this, it is already having a value to selected country. And while getting each and every country populated to the drop down, it is going to test this condition for the respective country currently it is getting bound. And if that country matches our selected country, it is automatically selected. If not, it is not going to be. So let me build this solution and I just execute it. Okay, so let me go with sample01 index. Okay, so right now you can see nothing is selected, but the moment I select USA, you can see it has not only listed USA, but it has also made that particular value selected. So if I see the network traffic, so let me select Canada now and see how it is refreshing. So I selected Canada. So this is the post request, right? This is the post request. And now during the post, you can see I'm actually sending Canada, and let us observe the response. So inside the response, you can see I still have the form, but you can see, hold on, this is a different post. I think I'm missing something. Let us go to USA for a second. So I'm selecting USA now, and now I selected USA, which is fine. So let us observe the response. So as part of the response, now you can see it has selected USA. So this is important. Selected equal to selected. If this is missing, you will not be able to have that one to be selected at all. So this is important. And also you can see the span is USA. And now you can see after the posting back to Canada, you can see that Canada has been selected. Similarly, if I select India, let me click here and let us observe the response. You can see India has been selected. So this selected option will be made available if and only if you maintain the selected criteria right there. So this is one way of actually having the posted input directly to the controller. But you can see I can further optimize this by saying something like I don't really need to use ViewData, as because now I have the selected country right inside the model, so I don't need to use this anymore. So I can just remove the S altogether, and I can also say I don't need this anymore. However, I can directly use selected country inside my span, so I don't need to use the ViewData anymore, and I can say from the model please get the selected country, and this is further refactored in such a way by excluding my ViewData variable, whatever I did earlier. So now I select USA, and now you can see it still works in whatever the way I really ask it to do so. But if I select a country, no value has been selected, and thus the selected country is empty and it does not really show any value.